Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, July 10th, 2023. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Monday, everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. The first thing we're looking at here to begin the week is how price reacts to the previous week's low price. Previous week's low right here, it's basically about 44.20, 44.19 and change. And initially price dropping down below that level, finding a double bottom, box reversal back up, and is sitting right at the previous or just below the previous week's close price now. So this previous week's low is going to be the first big test of the week. If there is an early rejection, as we are seeing now, and prices can continue to hold above that 44.20, then we could be looking for a bounce back a bit higher up the range here, likely back toward 44.57. 44.57 is the previous week's midpoint, and then you have the potential for an outside week through the 44.90. What is that? 44.95, 44.94. So potential outside week could even be in play. Remember, last week was a holiday shortened week. This week we have the full 5 days of volume and volatility coming back for summertime trading, that is, but an outside week could be seen to the upside if prices can continue to reject 44.20. A failure hit at 44.20 and you start opening up a rotation back down to the previous week's midpoint, and you're opening up a retest back toward 43.30. All right, let's take a look here at the NQ. You'll see right here the NQ doing a very similar price action here. The early move is to the previous week's low here in an uptrending market. Higher value relationship, so we've established that here heading into the second week of July. Higher value relationships, a great uptrending market, a pullback into the pivot range. Ideally, at some point here will be rejected early on for a check mark trend month up. Now, how far do we pull back? That's the big question here. Do we pull back as deep as the previous month's midpoint and retest the 14.8? If so, that could provide a tremendous opportunity for a retest back toward the 15.5 previous highs. A failure here at 14.8 and you open up much more weakness back toward 14.2. Right now, do we even get back to 14.8? The previous week's low is going to be the key here early on. That's 15.100. 15.110 basically is that level, and if prices can continue to stay above that zone, we might have a shot for the previous week's midpoint, which is about 15.275, and then you have the potential for an outside week to the upside as well. So potential outside week, a bit of a higher range week could be in play this week. We do have a little bit of a quiet economic calendar early in the week. Monday, Tuesday, mostly FOMC speakers speaking here, but Wednesday we do get inflation data. So Wednesday's inflation data, we also get beige book, PPI, initial jobless claims later on Thursday, and into Friday we get additional economic data points. So it could be a rather quiet early start to the week followed by a stronger finish, and we'll continue to watch the previous week's low for early directional conviction. Taking a look now at, let's look at crude oil. You'll see right here crude oil down nearly 1% right now, pulling back, fade after trend day style here after this thing has just run to the upside. A much bigger move to the upside than we have been seeing here lately, especially in the number of days, but it's still well within the range. 67 still big time support. The other end of the range here is between 74 and 75. So you have now reached, for all intents and purposes, the upper end of the range. We could go a bit higher into 75s or perhaps into that composite VWAP up above. That's 74.50. That zone is still up ahead. As of right now, a little bit of a pullback happening, a fade after trend day, but the trend is still up in the short term. We'll see again. Do we find a rejection up here? If so, that could turn us back down within the range with 67 likely up ahead. But right now we are clearly within this range and still heading higher toward the top of the range until proven otherwise. Let's take a look here at gold futures. Gold right now down about 0.7%. You'll notice again the downtrending price action that's been in play, lower value relationship. You have the inverted check mark trend month that played out last month. This month could be similar. The first pullback into the pivot range so far has been defended. Hasn't really seen a new low just yet. But we did mention any pullback into 1940 to 1950 could be the optimum zone for bears to defend and return to new lows. 1886 could be the easy downside target. 1886, that's an easy downside target. This thing, if it breaks to the downside here with the number of days that we have coiled up in here, this could easily open up a move well beyond 1886. The 1945 level up above is still very important given the amount of resistance we've seen up here. If price does get an upside break, say a stop run day up, that could be a quick move to 2000 up ahead. So again, that's going to be the level to watch here. We're still downtrending. Keeping an eye on this edge for a rotation down. We could be looking at a return back toward 1865 or lower, especially once we get a breakout from this narrow range. So big time energy being built up in here with the potential for big expansion ahead. Lastly, taking a look here at the YM. You'll see right now the YM taking out the previous week's lows as well. That previous week's low is 33,920-ish right there, 33,920. That's that low right there, taking it out, hitting the pivot range here, and showing a little bit of a bounce. Again, they're all showing a little bit of a bounce off the lows here, especially during the London Open. Very strong turnaround since that time. Can price hang on here? This is the perfect spot here for the YM to turn around. 33,800 wipes out this low, fills up this gap here. You're at the other side of this range. If prices can hang on here again, like we said with the others, that could open up a bit of a bounce that takes us back up the range, perhaps as high as 34,800 up ahead. So keeping an eye on this area right here, a failure, and you start to open up a return back toward 33K down below. So keeping an eye right here at 33.8, watching the previous week's low at 33,920, and watching for continued signs of rejection here. If so, a quick snap back to the previous week's midpoint, with a potential to go outside week up ahead. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out here heading into the new week of trading. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.